but that was something that I wasn't doing and I regret it. Hi everyone and welcome back. In this video we'll be talking about all the things I was wrong about. Well, not all of them. I picked 9 misconceptions that I thought were true, and over the course of my life I realized they're not. Maybe some of them will resonate with you. Let me know in the comments. Number 1. Adults are smart and they know what they're doing. As a kid, I took adults as an ultimate authority. I was obeying, I was a good kid. But as I grew up, I realized that there is no event after which you know that you're an adult and you know how to do things in the right way. And of course, you only figure it out as you grow up yourself. As you had more bright and less bright kids in school, the same applies to adults, unfortunately. Number 2, adult life is serious and boring. Well, adult life is pretty serious because you had to deal with pretty serious things. You had to figure out how to be on your own, how to sustain yourself, how to deal with finances and taxes, and so on. Perhaps you have to take care of your family and maybe your parents or something like that, and none of that is a lot of fun. However, adult life doesn't necessarily have to be boring. I think the impression that I got was because my parents and my friends' parents never had very explicit hobbies. We didn't do a lot of various activities. It might have something to do with the financial struggles we had in the 90s, but that was everyone's life. And I thought as a kid, I had, on top of school, various activities. I was hanging out with my friends, I was going for walks, and that seemed like fun. And I thought like, oh, in adult life, you just go to work and then you come home and then you watch TV and that's it. And I wasn't very excited about that. Now I obviously realize that your life is the way you make it. You can have as many hobbies as your life can allow you, and you can decide for yourself how you want to live your life and where. Number 3, your life stops when you have kids. It probably relates to the previous point of adult life being boring. Here I cannot really speak from experience because I don't have children. Let me rephrase that. I got this impression when I was a kid myself. I seen, well, people with children, they couldn't really do anything, they couldn't go anywhere, they couldn't travel, because that all seemed very daunting. As a mother, you're supposed to stay at home with your kid, you cannot go to a cafe or anything like that. Basically, I had this idea that when you get a kid, your life stops. You live for the kid, you don't have your own life anymore, you cannot go anywhere because it's so difficult with children. Right now, I don't think so anymore. Even though I don't have kids on my own, I see some friends of mine who managed to have a pretty fulfilling life with kids as well. I do understand that in the beginning of the child's life, obviously you're not as mobile or as free as you were before having kids. I believe that this is possible to include kid in your more or less regular life than to build your life entirely around your kid. Number 4, learning stops after school. I truly believe that. I thought, okay, I have school now, and then I will have university, so I will spend this 16 to 17 years in school, and then I am done. I'm gonna get a job, and I'm not gonna have to learn ever in my life. I find it very strange because I kind of liked learning. I think what I didn't like is maybe the whole formal side of that education, right? That you have to go somewhere and then you have to do the tests and exams, and that was something that was stressing me out. Maybe it's also something that I just saw around me. Of course, say 20 years ago, the online courses and the self-education was not as trendy as right now, right? I think it's really great that these days we can learn anything we want just sitting behind our computer. Well, with some exceptions, of course. Back then it wasn't the case, and I didn't really see people learning much. I don't know why. I know that my dad actually got a second education when he was in his 30s already. I'm not sure why I was so convinced that learning stops after you finish school. Well, I was wrong. Learning never stops, and I think learning how to learn is one of the most important skills that you need in life. Number 5, it's too late to make changes. By that I mean there is a deadline for certain things. Say, you have to decide what you want to do in life when you're like 15, before you start preparing for the university or college. When I was moving to the Netherlands, I was 24, and I was moving to do the postmaster's program. I clearly had this idea in my head that, oh my God, I am so old to go study again. Based on my previous point, I thought that I was not supposed to be learning after the university. I somehow consider that as a weakness. Like, if you don't know by this age what you want in life, you're a loser. Right now, I don't think so anymore. I think it's quite okay not to know, try things out, see what works for you, especially if you have financial opportunity to do so. If you're not sure that what you're doing is right, it might be great to try to find a way to think again, to try something else, to try to change careers, especially with the resources available right now. It's not impossible anymore. People change careers later in their lives. They start having crazy hobbies. They become rich after 50. Like, that's sort of thing that is possible, and I think it's important not to limit your thinking. The only deadline that you have is the day you die. And on this happy note, we're moving to the point number 6. You have to have it all by 30 years old. It kind of relates to the previous point with deadlines. I heard also from people from other cultures that 30 is somehow this like magic number, magic age by which you have to achieve certain things. I clearly thought that by 30 I have to have a family, a good career, children, house, and a car. So you kind of have to have it all by the age of 30, and if you hadn't, well, I guess then you didn't make it in life. Now I obviously don't think like that. I know that there are no deadlines. Okay, if you want to have kids as a woman, there is probably some kind of a deadline still, but well, there are medical advances, okay. What do I try to say? You don't have to have it all by the age of 30. You don't have to have any of that for that matter if that's something that you don't need. 30 is not old. It's a great age to enjoy your life. You may or may not have kids or houses or a car these days. I think my whole attitude towards these things have changed. I don't see that as the badge of success anymore. I see these things as my own choice, and I would like to go towards my goals in the pace which is comfortable for me. And I don't want society to tell me what I should do by which age. Number 7 is a pretty random one. Sports is for stupid people. I think it's also coming from my childhood when there was this stereotype of this big bulky guy who is utterly stupid. And I somehow thought that, you can't be both smart and sporty. You kind of can only have one. And I was always considering myself a smart one, therefore I couldn't be sporty or pretty or anything else. So it's like, oh, I had my one and I don't deserve, or I cannot be more than just one. It took me a while to change my mind about this because I was myself not a sporty person for the majority of my life. I hated sports. It was very difficult. I didn't understand how and why other people enjoy that. I somehow thought this is something innate, like people are born with this love for sports, and I just wasn't. But it wasn't like that. I found the sport, the activity that I like, which brings me joy, which I would like to do more, and this is all it took. And it sounds very simplistic. Oh, I just found it and it was it. Well, yes, it probably takes a bit of luck to find the sports that you like. You can as well just try lots of them. And another point that I think might work is when you try something and you get better at it, you become more sporty. Therefore, more sporting activities could appeal. I started with pole fitness, and now I actually enjoy other sport. I like working with weights. I don't go to gym anymore, but when I did, I found it very meditating, and I just focus, concentrate on my body, on my breathing, And another thing that I like is bouldering these days. I wouldn't enjoy it as much if I didn't have already some core strength that I built doing pole fitness. So no, sports are not for stupid people, and actually there is a scientific research behind it that contradicts that belief. Physical activity actually helps your cognitive function, so it does make you smarter. It makes you, think faster. If you think in one way or another that sports is not for you because you don't associate with sporty people, give it another go. It's really worth it. Number 8, I either have it or I don't. By this, I mean having a black and white thinking, a very fixed mindset. So I either was born with that or I wasn't, and nothing can be done about that. I believe that you can change yourself. You can become the person you want to be. It will not happen overnight. It will most likely take very conscious effort on your part, but it is possible. If that's something that you're very interested in, if you think that this will benefit you, you can teach yourself to do that. You can find someone who will help you. You can get somewhere perhaps in 10 years, when for some other person it will take 5. So what? You will be in that point anyways. And if you don't do anything, you will with 100% guarantee not get there. So currently I don't have this fixed mindset of whether I have it or I don't. I think about what is it that I need? What is it that will benefit me? What are my current life goals? Instead of thinking like, oh, if I didn't have it by now or ever, it means that I will never have it in my life. The last point in this talk is technical disciplines are superior to humanities. Well, yeah. I have a technical education. I studied computer science. Well, obviously all people around me were studying computer science, and we had this, what I think, a quite snobbish attitude. We really thought that, oh, well, they're not smart enough, they cannot handle all these technical things. We really thought that this is not that important, that this is fluffy, like philosophy is fluff, literature is fluff. Why would you study that at university? Like, what kind of job can you do with that? My whole idea about being technical as something superior to being in humanities was such a misconception when I realized that at work, in your private life and in your social life, you are around people. You have to interact with them. And knowing some soft skills helps you better than knowing how to write some software. To be fair, software development skills are in high demand right now. But people skills, you always need them, regardless of what you do professionally. And over time, I realized that that's something that I lack. That is not a given. If you're a person, it doesn't mean that you have people skills. Like, I had to learn a lot of things. I had to learn how to be more assertive, how to feel confident around people, how to present, how to communicate. It's always nice to have some negotiation skills, communication skills when it comes to interacting with your family, spouse, friends. I think in certain situations, when it comes to, say, bureaucracy, when you need to deal with some documents, or you notice that they made a mistake in some of your documents and you need that to get fixed, it's very easy to get aggressive about that because, well, this is their mistake and you're suffering from that and you feel like they own you. It might all be valid, but being aggressive to people and being rude, yell at them, or even like being passive aggressive, being like sarcastic to them, it's not gonna get you as far as being nice and being able to empathize with them, to build your communication based on the fact that they're also people. They will get defensive if you're gonna yell at them. You're not gonna get the result if you're gonna yell at them, right? You're just gonna make everybody feel bad. And that's something that took me quite a while to realize. I think people skills are very important and everybody should work on them regardless of what kind of education they get in school. And the bonus point in this video was not a misconception, but that was something that I wasn't doing and I regret it. I did not question things. It was probably because I thought the adults were smart and I never questioned all certain things that they were saying. I just generally didn't have questions when I was reading things, or even if I didn't understand something, I felt ashamed for not understanding things. So I was growing up without really being super curious about stuff. And that was something that I had to change later in life, because on the one hand, it's important in the job that I do, and on the other hand, it's obviously important in life. Because as we all probably have noticed, not all adults are smart and know what they're doing. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask to explain something once again. It doesn't make you stupid. It actually makes you smarter, because then you know that you understood something correctly. So please don't be like me. Ask questions, be curious. And that was it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Did any of that resonate with you? Please let me know in the comments below. And as always, you know what to do. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more useful videos. And I will see you next week. Cheers!